Why is it that every time you have to give a speech or present in front of people, you start feeling a pain in your stomach and you can feel your heart beating really fast, and there's a lot of anxiety attached to this experience, whether you're about to do it or if you mentally project yourself in a few days. There's a lot of fear associated with public speaking, any type of public speaking. It is nerve-wracking. Welcome to bendelahaye.com. Today we're going to talk about how do you overcome the fear of public speaking. There's a few reasons why this fear is here in the first place. First of all, the stakes of this presentation can be really high. Perhaps you think your job is on the line or your reputation in the company. Sometimes it's not your job or your livelihood, but it's your sense of self or your identity. You do not want to be the one looking like a fool in front of everybody. Who wants that? Nobody. Second reason, maybe you're not very good at public speaking. And it's not very pleasant to walk into a situation and you don't really know what you're doing. Third reason, public speaking is an activity where you have very little control on the outcome, because the outcome is what other people are going to think about you. And you're not in people's head. This is a little scary. You would like to control this situation a bit more. Ultimately, I believe public speaking is so scary because it is in our nature to fear rejection from the group. If you think back to thousands of years ago, when we were living in tribes, rejection from the group probably meant death. You needed the group for your survival. This is why I believe public speaking situations are so scary, because in our deep nature, there is a lot more at stake. The great news is that in our modern world, you do not die from failing at public speaking anymore. So I guess there is one positive point to start from. I believe that overcoming the fear of public speaking doesn't mean that that fear has to go away. If you are about to give a presentation or speak in front of people, and you are experiencing this knots in your stomach and sweaty palms and a very fast heartbeat, that doesn't mean that there is something wrong with you. The way that you overcome the fear of public speaking is that you learn to live with it and you learn to operate in spite of the fear. So there are two things I want to get out of the way. Some people might have told you, imagine your audience naked. That has never done anything for anyone that I know of. Why? Because there's so much stuff going on in your head as you enter the stage and you're about to do this presentation, that I would be very surprised if you really have the mental power to stop, take a deep breath, and mentally picture everybody naked in the audience or even the front row. That is just impossible. If you managed, I'm not really sure the outcome would be that great. Alcohol. You may have seen people do a shot of hard liquor before they give a speech, usually in the evening at a wedding or at some meal. I have to be honest, I've never seen anyone do that during the day, but maybe they're really good at hiding it. Alcohol and other substances are not a good way to overcome your fear of public speaking. You may experience some kind of a bliss. I'm not gonna take that off. However, if you walk on stage drunk or high, you will lose your effectiveness as a speaker. You will mumble your words, you will slur your words, you're going to be thinking really slowly, and you will lose your credibility because people pick up on it. And that is one of the first things that happens with public speaking, is that everything about you is visible. You make one little gesture and people draw a lot of conclusions on that. And this is also why it is so scary, because you do not control the interpretation that other people are doing about your attitude and your movement and everything that you do on stage. So get that out of the way, forget it. Now I'm going to talk about real ways to overcome the fear of public speaking. So the first thing that you can do is change your goal as you are about to walk into this public speaking situation. Probably in your mind, you've seen a movie where a speaker gets up in front of hundreds of people and delivers their speech. And there's a standing ovation and everybody is deeply moved and also have laughed throughout the speech, but also have learned a lot of truth about their own existence. These are movies, and when this happens in real life, this is also in the realm of amazing public speaker. If you're here today, you're probably experiencing a lot of fear around public speaking, so I'm assuming you're not at that stage yet. And expecting yourself to be a top-level speaker when you have little experience is just a wrong goal and is one of the reasons why you're experiencing fear at the moment. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to set yourself goals related to your presentation or your speech that are 100% under your control and that you know that you can succeed. Your first goal might just be to show up. So if you establish that your success factor for your next presentation is something very controllable and that you are sure to succeed, it will already put you in a different mental state as you are walking into the speech. And you actually will be giving a better speech than if you're just fearing and live under the anxiety that everybody has to give you a standing ovation and be moved and think you are the next genius that they will remember for their entire lives and throughout history. Maybe show up is not ambitious enough. So maybe your goal for that speech is to just show up and make sure that you go through 2 or 3 important talking points regarding the information that you're delivering. Of course, these are not goals of amazing public speakers, but if you are a beginner, starting with this is what will help you feel less fearful about the situation that you're walking into. And I really mean goals that you're 100% sure to succeed. So let's say you're not very experienced and you tell yourself, okay, for this speech, I want to be able to deliver the speech by heart without any notes, know all the talking points. That's not a goal that when I started public speaking, I was sure to succeed. Even if you don't have that many talking points, I just didn't trust my nerves. I thought that if I walked on stage, my memory would be completely wiped out and I wouldn't remember what I was supposed to talk about. With time, I learned to trust my memory. I learned techniques of memory champions, and I'm able to deliver most speeches without my notes when necessary. And this is a technique that I will go over and over in the videos that I publish on this channel. This idea of doing goals that you're 100% sure to succeed is one of the ways that you can really put aside some of that fear as you're walking on stage. The second thing is you can also change your mindset when it comes to this speech. So maybe you fear your colleagues will judge you or not be impressed by you, or you don't want to be judged by your friends or family. What I would like to tell you is most people will remember the great moments that you've given them when you were on stage, and they will tend to forget the bad moments. If you have bored your audience for 20 minutes, I get it, it's physically painful, it sucks, but people will not remember you for that. So keep that in mind when you think the stakes are really high. Now, if the stakes are really high and say, for example, your job is on the line for a presentation or an investment into your company is on the line, I will go through another technique to help you overcome the fear of that situation. One of the ways to overcome your fear of public speaking is to actually become a good public speaker. And I'm going to tell you now, the best way to become a good public speaker is to speak in public. I don't care how many hours of YouTube videos on public speaking you watch or how many public speaking coach you hire. The best way to become better at public speaking is to speak in public. This is what a good public speaking coach would do with you. If we were to work together, I would actually put you in front of other people. You would not feel comfortable, but this is how you improve at it. So how do you get that practice? You can join a public speaking club. I have attended Toastmasters meetings worldwide throughout my life. I do not do it at the moment because I am getting these opportunities to speak, but Toastmasters is a great way to grow your skills and get practice when the stakes are really low, because your job is never on the line in a public speaking club. It's just for the sake of it, for the practice, you get feedback. Other opportunities for stage time is to volunteer, to speak or give trainings in your company. Every time there's an opportunity, stand up in front of other people and deliver some kind of a speech. So for example, if during a team meeting, your boss is asking you to report on your actions or your results, stand up and instead of just reading your results or giving the figures, look at everybody and pretend that you're giving a speech about your results. If you take a leadership position in one of the clubs in which you socialize, you'll be asked to present a program or present the activities for the year or what happened in the past year. So you'll get opportunities to speak in public then. These are ways that you can really maximize the number of opportunities that you get as a public speaker. To help you through this, you can also get a public speaking coach, bendelhay.com. And this is one way that you can get better at it and overcome your fear of public speaking. Now, of course, becoming a better speaker, that is a long-term plan. What if you have a presentation tomorrow in 6 hours? I'm going to give you 3 tips to maximize your chances of success at the presentation. So the first thing that you're going to do is to set yourself a goal of how many times you're going to practice your presentation before you have to give it. Depending on the length of your speech, if it's possible, I would recommend at least 5 times. And I would also recommend to do it with other people. So either you find a group of friends or you find colleagues with whom you can practice your presentation. I know it is a bit cringy to do this in front of friends or colleagues, but this is one of the ways that you're going to maximize your chances of success at the presentation. Why is it important to do it in front of other people? Because you get the feeling of what it's like to deliver that speech in front of other people. It is not the same experience when you just deliver it to yourself or you just think about it. The mere fact of having somebody else observe you gives you a sneak preview of what you're going to experience when you're on the stage. So try to get 5 different friends or 5 different groups of friends or colleagues and rehearse the presentation in front of them 5 times. If you do not find any friends or colleagues to look at you, then record yourself. You don't need a fancy camera, just take your smartphone camera. It's not as good as if you do it with other people, but the lens of the camera is the closest to you being conscious of another observer in the room. And then very important, since the friend is not here to give you feedback, then you watch the recording and you give yourself feedback. The second tip is go through some exercises of relaxation. Now, it's not going to save the day completely, but it is going to help. One of the things that works really well for me is meditation. I do it for 5 or 10 minutes. And I just let the thoughts happen. Meditation is really hard when you are fearing public speaking. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really achieve it fully because my fears of the situation keep arising. But at least I became conscious of those fears, and observing that fear is one of the ways that I can overcome that fear and not have that fear completely control me. And then also go through some physical relaxation. You can do a yoga session, you go play some sports with some friends. Everything that is going to help you relax the mind and the body is going to help for your presentation. And then the third tip to help you with the fear of public speaking is try to visit the space where you're actually going to speak. If you have the opportunity to go there the day before, do it. If you do not, be the first speaker there in the morning, get a feel for the room, get up on that stage, get a look at all the empty chairs, look at the mic situation. Ask a technician if you're going to be holding a mic or if it's going to be one of these mics that sticks to your ear. Walk around the stage. Where can you move? Where can you not go? Is there a space where you can put your notes? If your presentation has slides, how does it work? Is somebody giving you a clicker? Do you have your own clicker? Or are you using your computer? Where do you put the computer? All these little details are very important. If you figure them out before you're on stage, then you don't have to stress about them while you're there. Because you will feel some discomfort if you're live in front of an audience and you're fidgeting with your papers or the space and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do. And then look, how close is the front row? How far is the back row? How wide is the audience spread out? What do you have to do to make sure that you address everybody as you're giving your speech? Try to mentally rehearse this. The value of this exercise is that it will help you anticipate the situation and you will perform better when you actually have to go live and give your presentation. I hope you found the tips in that video useful to help you overcome the fear of public speaking. Subscribe to my channel over there or subscribe to my newsletter, bendelahaye.com, for more tips on public speaking. Thank you. See you next time.